We got 15 minutes left of the show, folks. I want to make this last 15 minutes count. The Xbox Game Showcase, without sounding like a fanboy, without trying to rah for the $3 trillion company, let's call a spade a spade. It was by far the greatest show on earth. That's it. I know there were a lot of detractors. There were some real just knuckleheads who exposed themselves out there by giving it a 3. We don't have to name them. You know who we're talking about. They're just a bunch of boobs. This show had so many games. Now, I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, or anybody on the panel. I have watched the show 6 times. And every time I watched the show, and I was live there, how that actually happened, I'm still pinching myself. I was ass in seat when that thing was happening, along with all of these creators that I work with and met for the first time. It was glorious. Probably the best experience I have personally ever had as a gamer / content creator. I've never had goosebumps for 2 hours long, because that's how long I had goosebumps for. It just was so spectacular of a show, but to be there was just awe-inspiring. But with that said, now I've watched the show 6 times, Umbra. 6 times I watched the show. Every time I've watched it, I've come away with like, I'm changing my pick, my game of the show. Because first it was Gears. I was so awestruck by their going back to E-Day that just has to be it. And then I saw Fable. And I'm like, my God, I'm a Fable stan. I kick chickens. They're bringing it back. It seems like they have the humor of what we knew. That's it. And then I watched it again, and I'm like, oh man, Expedition 33, not first party, but my God, that has been. I get Lost Odyssey vibes from watching that. And then I watched it a 4th time, and I said, man, Perfect Dark, that's the one for me. I'm changing it again. I have had different picks. So right now, I am currently sitting on, because I am the oldest guy in the panel. I'm probably the oldest guy. You know, if you look in the chat, and there may be somebody older than me, I'm going to be 54. Indiana Jones is my most anticipated game of the year. Like, it's just, it looks so good. It plays like a film. The character design, the conversation between the characters, like the guy that was laughing that goes choo choo.
That was great.
That was right out of a film.
That was Indiana Jones right there. It's like always, funny stuff in that movie.
So hold on, Scott Gamer Dude's got me beat. He's double nickels. Listen, brother, you got up today. It's a bonus, but yes, at least there's one person older than me. There you go. But look, I'm going to go to you first, Crazy Lou Gaming. How many times have you watched the show? People are still talking about it. Like, people, like legitimate gamers who look to the industry and the community to have fun, to get excited about the next big thing, are still talking about this showcase. It is, like I said, the greatest show. I think that it might be the greatest show of all time. Mm-hmm. How many times have you watched it, and are you still on the same pick of the show as your original pick, or have you, like me, saw more of something that made you change your mind?
Listen, Boom, I watched the show 10 times. Now,
holy wow. Good for you, dude.
Yes, 10 times. Now, my pick has not changed, which is Doom. Doom is always going to be my pick, because I'm a big, huge Doom fan. I love Doom. I watched that Doom trailer probably like 300 times. No joke. 300 times. But while I was doing the live showcase, while Sour and everybody was talking, I was watching the trailer again and again and again and again and again. I'm like, I watched this trailer like 70 times while you guys were talking. I mean, dang. For me, it's just Doom. What I really disliked about it is, like, man, I wish I had the surprise factor. I hated that it got spoiled for me, because I mean, that was like every showcase comes in. That's what
you're talking about for Doom specifically.
For Doom, yes. Yeah, for Doom. I mean, if that game would have been shown, I mean, the way I would have reacted, I would have just gone nuts. I probably would flip the couches. I would have gone crazy on here live, because
running around the house flipping.
No joke. I would have gone nuts, because that's how big of a Doom fan I am. Because if people have heard me before and asked me which game you wanted to be shown, I will always say Doom. And now they spoiled it for me. They talked about it. I'm like, oh man, now it's coming. But either way, though, happy to see it, and I replayed that trailer again and again. And also the Expedition 33, which I call Preparation 33. That game, really hoping when it releases just to hop in and play, because that's that style of RPG I've missed a lot about it, and I really want to hop into it. Those are my two big games, but for me, Doom is always going to be number one. Just Doom.
I mean, listen, we didn't know when they said, when it leaked,
Yeah.
when they said they were going back to the dark ages, a lot of people were like, oh my god, he's gonna be running around with like a club or an axe.
Look at
It
that
turns
shield.
out that that
They-
shield is ridiculous.
And the skull thing that crushes. I mean, look, you remember that Phil wore the Hexen shirt? It
Yes,
felt like,
yeah.
this is Doom into Hexen. Like, I'm gonna go into Hexen right now, and just kick ass.
Yeah.
Man, that shield. I'm getting the vibes again. That shield. When I saw that, I was like, yes, that shield looked freaking awesome. I mean, man, Captain America shield with blades.
Oh yes, absolutely. So before we get to Umbra, let me just address Sin. Sin. Okay, so look, I have to change. As you saw, this was originally painted as us talking about the the Call of Duty Fallout, combination that they're doing that's currently live. I'm gonna move that to Thursday because it is a conversation that I have to have. We kind of got a little like off track because obviously it was a lot of conversation that we had today. I'm going to take all the art and I'm going to move it to the show. I'm going to change all the art. I'm going to change the title. So if you're just catching the show, you'll get all the updated information. Again, it's just one of those things that we had a plan, and then the plan got kind of reworked like live on the air because obviously it's just one of those days that there's just not a lot of news, and I want to try and keep it on point. But I will be talking about that on Thursday's show, Sin. So tune in for that. That is obviously the show with me and C Money, because I do think that there is a conversation and an opportunity for Xbox to really bring Call of Duty. Now, again, there's going to be a conversation with people that are like, hey, don't put your Call of Duty chocolate into my peanut butter. I get it. They don't want Call of Duty to be Fortnite, but I kind of feel like it's already there. You have Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg running around shooting you. I mean, it's already there, right? But I think that Xbox, specifically now that they own Call of Duty, have a ridiculous opportunity, because I'm sorry to say, the minute a Marcus Phoenix skin goes into Call of Duty, I am freaking buying it. There's no questions asked.
I was hoping you would say. I was hoping you were going to say the minute a Banjo Kazooie skin goes into the game.
If Banjo Kazooie is running around shooting people, I am going to be the one that's killing. I'm going to get so good at Call of Duty to embarrass people by running around as a stupid bear and a bird.
Conquer would make more sense technically.
Conquer,
no. But listen to this. It's a good idea because listen, we already got an evil Winnie the Pooh running around. So why the heck not have an evil Banjo? Why not? I mean, that would be great, man. I mean, didn't you see the evil Winnie the Pooh movies? I saw one.
God, Gamer Dude said that would be out of place. Yeah, because imagine a cartoon character running.
Exactly.
It would absolutely be out of place. There's no doubt about it.
But use the bird like on what's this movie called? Hot Shots, right? Hot Shots with Charlie Sheen. Like, he used the
Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah.
Use the bird that Banjo has and just
kill you until you die.
Yeah. It's look. So yeah, again, shout out to you, Sin, for the reminder, because what I got to do is I got to immediately, the minute the show is done, I got to rework the art. I got to rework the title. I'm actually thinking about it like literally as we're doing the show. But Umbra, let's get your final take on this, because obviously the showcase was phenomenal. It was complete fire from start to finish. Like literally, I know some people are like, well, the mouse game. Look, the mouse game was the mouse game. It actually looks like it's going to be an indie darling. Not so much for me, but it was good enough to earn its place there. A lot of people thought it was a little out of place, but I think we can honestly say, even with that little bit of a short stop with that this show was phenomenal. I didn't know that. I mean, I thought I watched this. I was like, yeah, 6 times. That's a lot. Louis has blown me out the door. He watched it 10 times. How many times did you watch it? And has your opinion changed with your game of the show?
For me, I think I've seen it about 5 times,
Okay.
and I'll probably go back to check it out here and there. But I came away with a 9.5 out of 10, but then I had to mull it over, and I'm like, well, has there been anything better? Because I gave it a 9.5 because while it's damn near perfect, is there any room for improvement? And I guess I kind of try to reason it out with, well, they didn't give some release dates, but then I started thinking, who cares? All these games are coming to Game Pass anyway. When they're done with it, my motto is give it to me when you're ready. When it's ready to give, I don't care about that anymore. So I saw some people giving it 10s. I'm like, you know what? I can't. What's the distinguished thing between a 0.5 and a 9.5 and a 10? It's only 0.5 difference.
Right.
So
That's fair.
I'm at a 9.5, but then I'll take a 10 too. I'm flexible. I'll take either one. I just came away from the show really appreciating the work they put into it. Again, it didn't have to me that same setup as it did the years prior, where they're like, oh, it's gonna be a big one, oh, set your expectations, or oh, this is, it was kind of like, hey, this is the game show, come through on June, blah blah blah. And then they gave us this, and it was like, whoa, didn't expect this like this much, because I thought last year was spectacular. I thought last year was it was the best show last year, Xboxes. I've been thinking that Xbox has been carrying gaming for a while. I've said this many times. Had it not been for Xbox, what would we be talking about? Exactly. And I mean it on both sides, be it or all three sides, I guess. When it comes to gaming, Xbox has carried the news by far. It's not even a question. But you don't go from last year's show to this, and it's like night and day. Even better somehow than what they gave us last year. So I'm just really proud of the efforts and work they put into it, to the team personally. Blew me away. As far as being like
Tina Amini put her hands were all over this. Like, if you were wondering, why they hired her, this is the reason. Like, I don't, and she's very mild mannered. I mean, she's boisterous when she speaks, that's what I love about her. But I don't think I've ever seen. I haven't seen her be like, yeah, I'm taking credit for it. She really does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. This had her fingerprints all over it. Well, and if this is the start of why they hired her from IGN, it's going to be an amazing show each and every time they do one.
When you do such great work, sometimes your work speaks for you. You don't have to say anything, and I guess that's what it is.
That's a great point, dude. Honestly, fantastic point. Yep.
Yeah. So she did her thing. I'm happy that they seem to have the right people in place now. We heard about the other guy that left from the marketing department, and apparently that's a good thing. We'll see. I'm happy for all of this, what they did. I'm just happy for them kind of setting the stage and showing everybody what an actual roadmap looks like. You could not come from that and be like, oh, well, doubt with Microsoft. You just couldn't. Even if with certain moves they've made with closures and such. Yeah, I know some people try to throw that into it, but that's just them being cynical and hating on Microsoft as they do. You could not come away from this just being upset. I just don't believe you could. What were you going to say, Lou?
Who was it? Pizza the Hut. They gave it a 3 out of 10. Was it out there?
I don't even want to name them, but yeah, it was BS. You couldn't. If this came to a 3 for you, then you just don't like gaming. Like at that point, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't care what anybody. Well, you got different tastes. Yeah, poor taste. Anyway, moving on to the other part. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Well, well, obviously we know you watched it a bunch of times like me, but has your game of the show changed?
My game of the show so many times. It has not, but it did fluctuate between the emotion behind Gears E-Day and Gears of War E-Day, and I have to say the whole name. I'm sorry, Gears of War E-Day. It fluctuates between the emotional side of seeing that and the technical awe of Fable. I'm still in awe of Fable. Every time I look at it, I'm like, how is this happening? This is not Unreal Engine. Why is this happening? I don't get it.
And man, and the way it tells the story is it looks like it's going to be a good Fable. It's going to be a great Fable.
I hope it. I just hope that they nail it. Visually, it's. I don't want to say the Hellblade tier. Hellblade, I think, is just kind of like insane, especially if you see it on PC. Yeah, it looks good on Xbox, but sheesh, on PC. It's like, come on. So I'm just hoping that they stick the landing with Fable. I hope the combat is solid. It seems to be the case. Just blown away by how everything looks, and that's still supposed to be gameplay. I'm like, wow, this is gameplay. I can't even get that in my head.
It looks so good that like you could honestly be like, I'm not even sure. Like, remember how when it was first shown, people like, that's just CG. Turns out that's actual gameplay.
Yep. And I don't blame them because it looked that damn good. So I'm just hoping they stick that landing, and it's none of that, stuff people going back. Oh, it looked downgrade. I just hope it really looks good once it releases.
I love it.
And the combat is fun. You know how they do. I don't see the foliage. It's not moving or something.